Hello, and welcome to A Place to Call Home. It's our weekly show where we talk about everything. My special guest live in studio with me, Jennifer Sims. It's that time of year. We are here to talk about swim camp, Destiny's Camp International, the aquatics program, and the training institute that is her baby, and she instituted this years and years ago. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us, Portia. We're glad to be here today.
It's that time of year again, and I remember when this idea was birthed in your mind.
Yes.
You know, it's been that long.
That long, 10 years.
Yeah. And still going strong.
Yes.
And Destiny's Camp, especially in the summer, we incorporate the swim program and the swim camp. We have connected with the city of Lafayette to do that, and we are very, very proud of that. Let's start off by talking about how important it is to learn how to swim.
Portia, it is so important to learn how to swim. I want you to think about this analogy. As much as we think in our minds we cannot swim, we were born in water. We were in the fluid in our mother's womb. And once we came out, we began to move action. And so now swimming in the minds of many people is, I'm afraid of the water. I don't. And
especially African Americans.
We're still 70% African Americans still in the United States are non-swimmers. 60% Hispanics.
Why?
Basically is two things that I hear all the time, okay, is swimming lessons are too costly.
Okay.
And number two, I don't want to get my hair wet.
Okay.
And I don't want the chlorine to bleach my hair up, or I came from a family where I was taught there, somebody drowned, so thereby I just refused to go into the water. I traced back whether or not, the question as a young person is, why are they saying that African American people can't swim? What started it? And so I traced that back to slavery. And basically it wasn't so much that they weren't swimmers, they were being shot and killed in the water, and that's where the phrase comes from, don't go in that water, you're gonna drown. No, you were gonna die because you were shot at. And so that has carried over for generations and generations. And one of my goals is, let's change those numbers. Let's begin to do some work. And every year new kids are born. So the numbers are still staying pretty strong. And that's 2012 statistics.
Well, Jennifer, you and I grew up in Lake Charles. We were around water, learned how to swim at an early age. And I just embraced swimming. I had a grandmother, I guess, who was a visionary and just wanted me to learn how to swim. So you took it a step further, and you got licensed, and you have licensed lifeguards around you, and you actually have an aquatics program.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about how it all works, especially the connection with the city.
Okay. Because number one, I had a vision to bring swimming lessons back to the local pools. And yes, I teach privately, and there's a lot of folks here, different aquatic centers that teach private lessons. But I remember growing up, like when we grew up, you went to the swimming pool in your neighborhood, and the lifeguards taught you to swim. However, I know they have new rules where you have to be a water safety instructor, which I am, and I also instruct lifeguards. And so I had this vision for a long time, and in 2013, I met with the mayor who set up a meeting with Mr. Gerald Boudreaux and Greg Goche, and we sat down and talked and said, okay, Jennifer, I want to see that happen. What can we do? I don't have the money or whatever. I said, I will do whatever it takes. And so we agreed to have a partnership for a trial run in 2014. And we had 80 participants. And out of that, we had 80%, almost 90% of the children was actually swimming and jumping into the deep end and having a great experience. So this year, we went back to the table and the council said, we want to fund it. We want to keep the partnership going. Can you increase the numbers from 80 to 160? So how we did that, we taken in 15 people to a class. I have 5 certified lifeguards out there working with these children, training them, and it's from ages 5 to 13. It's $45 for 2 weeks. And that the parents, and they contact us, go to our website, and we are teaching young people how to swim. And I advise anybody to go by OJ Mouton Pool from 5:15 to 7:30 and just stand by the fence or go in and watch those kids. I believe that we're revitalizing the community and that we are breaking those statistical numbers.
OJ Mouton, that's right on Mudge Street, in the community, right on Mudge Street, that big pool there. Now, in a lot of communities, we're hearing they're closing down their pools. These kids in the summertime don't really have places to go and swim, but we are glad that you have these sessions going on now. When is the next session? Is there a session going on right now?
Yeah, there's a session that's ending today. Our next session starts July 6th, which that session is full, but I still have availability in our July 20th through the 23rd and July 27th through the 30th. So it's Monday through Thursday for 2 weeks. And you choose a time slot, whether it's 5:15 or 6:30.
Okay.
And then I have, my last session is going to be August 3rd through the 6th and the 10th through the 13th. And the same time slot. So we have about 15 people in each class, and we're willing to work with your kids. And like I said, it's $45. The city has been very gracious. We have embraced it, and we're seeing great results. And the parents are very favorable toward it. And yes, we have some screams and hollows, and parents, don't be afraid of that. I always say I'd rather hear those kind of cries where they've got somebody to protect them versus being and nobody's there for them.
Right. Yeah. No, I was going to ask about the parents. Can we get some parents in the pool as well?
What we do is every Thursday, like today, we invite the parents in.
Okay.
They can come in and be with their children.
All right.
And so, yes, we teach adult lessons as well.
All right.
And I promised last year I was going to bring one of my adults over here, but we have adult lessons from 9 to 11, not at OJ Mouton Pool, but our location at 330 Brothers Road.
Okay.
And so if you are an adult and you want to learn how to swim, we have lessons available for you. And we start actually teaching lessons at the infant age, 6 months old.
It's great exercise.
Yes.
And gets the heart rate up.
Yes.
Everything.
And every muscle is moving. We also have water aerobics as well in the mornings from 6 to 7.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got 8 ladies out there right now stretching their bodies and making it happen, you know.
Wonderful. We're talking with Jennifer Sims about Destiny Camp International, the Aquatics and Training Institute located right here in our city. OJ Mouton Pool. If you have a young person in your life that you want them to learn how to swim, they've partnered with the city. Now, the city will pay a portion of the cost, and the parents will pay a portion of the cost. It's a 2-week session. You can get them to sign up. Is there a way they can go on a website or a phone number they can call? How does it happen?
They can actually go on our website. That's www.destinycampinternational.com. And you will go there and you will select the OJ Mouton site, and you will look for session 5 and session 6 and choose your site, and you can actually pay online. The printable forms are there for you for the registration so that we can have all that information. Or you can call at 337-322-9302, and I'll be happy to get with you. And we also are taking registrations at the pool location if you're interested in doing that as well.
Now, Jennifer, I did want to say that every year, you know, we hear of a horrific story.
Yes.
About somebody, some family member who, you know, just didn't know how to swim, just drowned. You know, I was so saddened to hear about the young lady out of Grambling State University. That's my alma mater. That incident happened at Girard Park. And, you know, she's not the only story that you hear of people who just are afraid, just in some instances fight the water. And just don't know what to do.
One of the things that, with partnership with the City of Lafayette, Portia, that we have done this year that has really been a heart of mine is that get out and do water safety awareness. And so we went to every summer campsite this year and talked to the students in the campsite. And it was almost 1,000 kids that we reached to talk about the safety part of swimming. Because a lot of times we say we're going to the pool, but we don't talk to the children about maybe they're going to a picnic where there's a pond or there's a lake, okay, and how that water is different from pool.
Right.
And how if you go into a beach, like when we grew up in Lake Charles, you know, how that water is different. So we talk about all of the things. We talk about the importance of lifeguarding and really try to talk to the kids at a young age about getting and taking lessons. We have a junior lifeguard program, and then you work in that program, and then you can become a lifeguard, and how even that you could have a job at 15 years old, lifeguarding, and on to college. And I was licensed as a lifeguard in Cox Parish when I was 15 years old, and I'm old now, too old to talk about, and I still maintain that certification as well as additional certifications all those years.
Now, Jennifer, initially, what made you want to do this?
Basically,
years ago.
I've always wanted to have a youth camp.
Okay.
Back when we grew up, you and I, in our Christian experience with Baptist Youth Encampment. And I have a bigger vision than just the swimming. This is just the vein that God's led me. But this actually birthed out of the Hurricane Katrina.
Okay.
I was sitting in my home, and I have a pool in my backyard. And the Spirit of the Lord began to speak to me, and he said, "You're selfish." And I said, "Lord, why?" And he said, "You have a pool here and a skill, and you're not helping your people." And so at that point, I was working. And after I got off from work every day for the last 9 years, I've had swimming lessons starting in April up until November of every year.
Really?
Yes. We actually teach into the winter. We have a heated pool. Most of our adults come after the kids go back to school, and we make provisions for them on Saturdays. And if anyone wants to come in the afternoons, we can make provisions for that. We also teach in CPR, working with daycares, working with schools. And my really desire, Portia, is to see water safety be promoted in our public school system so that kids can begin to
when I went to
move forward.
College at Grambling,
That was mandatory, huh?
it was mandatory. Swimming was a requirement. You could not graduate unless you took a swimming class. Yes.
And I think they need to go back to that. And we have all of our high schools pretty much here in the city have swim teams.
Really?
So there's opportunity for African Americans as well as Hispanics, etc., to get involved in these swim programs and be part of it. Matter of fact, I have one of our swimmers that's swimming with Karen Crowe High.
Really?
Yeah. And I wish I could get some of these other ones that I have that my lifeguards, junior lifeguards, they're great swimmers to get involved at their high schools. But we want to, and we work closely with COLA. That's one of the swim clubs here that actually works with the city of Lafayette as well. And they have a swim team, and they're out there at OJ Mouton, and we're just pushing our kids to learn how to swim and to swim correctly, Portia. A lot of times our kids are swimming, and they're swimming not to get their face wet.
Oh.
Okay? But I'm for technique.
Okay.
I want you to know the front crawl. I want you to know the back crawl. I want you to know the side stroke, the butterfly, and all of that. I don't want you just to be in the water playing around. I want you to be swimming laps, because one of the things that we find, Portia, I have a lot of African Americans who are interested in becoming lifeguards, but they can't pass the pre-test. And the pre-test is involved with 15 laps, okay, 25-yard meter laps, 15 of them.
That's a long way.
Continuous,
Okay.
for just a combination of breaststroke and front crawl.
Okay.
Then they have to tread water for 2 minutes without using their arms, just their legs. And they have to go down 10 feet or 12 feet to get a brick which simulates a body, pick it up, put it on their chest, and kick back without using their hands.
Oh my.
That's the pretest. So even though you may know how to swim, if you're not swimming laps and building up endurance, you fail at the pretest. And one of the things that I found this year, we've had a few, like the city of Opelousas. They could not even open their pools because they had no lifeguards.
Aw.
And they called me and, said, Jennifer, what you can do. And we worked out something where we trained 5 lifeguards for them that they were able to open up the pool. I talked to New Iberia. They closed their pool on South Park this year. North Park has been closed as well. And so there's nothing. Now, many cities are closing their pools, whether it's because of liability, but most of it is because they don't have lifeguards. This is not only in the African American community, this is citywide. We have, I've trained Caucasians as well as African American kids this summer for lifeguarding, and I get calls every day for more lifeguards. When you having another lifeguard training, when you have another lifeguard training. So there's opportunity out there.
So do you consistently train lifeguards?
I train lifeguards starting in March.
Okay.
And we just actually finished lifeguard training June 20th.
Do you do water safety for the offshore industry as well?
We work with them.
Okay.
Because my husband worked offshore for years, and he also is involved in this teaching project, and he's certified as well. He does work with guys who want to go to the Navy,
Okay.
who want to go to the military and don't know how to swim.
Oh.
And so we get them in and they call us and we get them swimming and able to carry them through some of those offshore adventures. I wish I had the money in the pool to kind of do that kind of training, because we have a lot of people of all ethnic backgrounds that's offshore that cannot swim.
Amazing.
They can pass what is necessary, the survival test, but when it comes to, say, actually being able to swim, no.
Destiny Camp International, the Aquatics and Training Institute and Center. Jennifer Sims is here. Please give them your phone number again.
Area code 337-322-9302. And we will be excited to hear from you and try and get you into one of those programs or at our program at our other location in Scott, Louisiana.
All right, and also there are sessions going on. We've been doing this since early
May 18th.
Since May, and it's going to go on throughout the summer. And the last session will be in August, right before school starts.
Yes.
And it's a 2-week session.
Yes.
And all you have to do is call and sign up and learn how to swim. Something so important for people. I'm not just going to say young people, for everybody.
It's a life skill, Portia. You know,
Right.
just like driving, you know, you want your kids to learn how to drive. You want your kids to learn how to do certain things. Swimming is a life skill. And here in Louisiana, we're surrounded by water. And I think that's the challenge with hurricanes that come our way. You're not planning to be in the water.
Right.
But here you are. Karen Crow last year, when we had the flood in Karen Crow, or 2 years ago, I'm not sure. But the water came into people's homes. And so if you don't know how to handle water, or if you have a fear of water and it starts to come up to your waist, and can you imagine the many people in New Orleans that were on their rooftops, etc., these things is not something we intend to happen. It just happens.
Right. Great idea. Learn how to swim. We promote it. And like we said earlier, you know, bodies of water are certainly different than swimming pools.
Yes.
So, you know, you have to know what to do in a body of water.
It's the currents, the
Right.
riptides, like in beaches and great bodies of water. You have to flow with the current, not against the current. If you get caught in a riptide and you're not a strong swimmer, chances are you're probably going to be lost. Also, like in rivers and lakes, you have alligators, you have snakes, you have just sea creatures. And so if you're not aware of that before you get into the water, then if something comes and just a fish swims by you, you can become frightened and panic, and you can know how to swim, you know. And I want to make a shout out real quick, Portia, to all you dads out there and all you fishermen and ladies that go fishing and refuse to wear your life jackets. Right. I have a personal testimony that my husband lost a brother and a cousin to a drowning in Toledo Bend. When he was 13 years old, my husband was supposed to be the third victim. My husband saw a snake sunning in the tree portion, pointed it out, and one of his cousin got up and ran out of the boat, turned the boat over, and there they were, parents around the bend. But where was their life jackets? They were sitting on them. Oh my. And this is what I hear when I talk to the children and I ask them at the camps this year, how many of you go fishing with Grandpa or Grandma? And, you know, many of them raise their hand, do you wear your life jackets? And they said, sometime. I said, do Grandma or Grandpa? No. And I said, well, you need to make sure when you go and you tell them to wear a life jacket, and that, you know, we want to keep them safe, because you never know what can happen. Boats coming in the lake, fast speed jet skis that could actually put water in your boat and turn your boat over, and then you have a problem. You know, an interesting statistic I heard the other day was, you know, about the life jackets, where people had them on the boats, they just weren't accessible where they could get to them. You know, they were tucked away somewhere, under the seat somewhere. Right, so, because basically we think, well, we won't need them. Right. But we're teaching kids, also another thing we're teaching them, about sunscreen, Portia. Really? Many of them don't wear sunscreen, and they're at these camps, they're going, you know, 90 to nothing. I didn't think we needed sunscreen, Jennifer. Because of our skin, right? Right. Okay. You need sunscreen to protect the skin you're in. Okay. And to fight that cancer off, because many people and that's what many of us think. But what you're doing is putting a layer of protection to protect your skin, the sun rays that it can bounce off. And especially with kids out playing, parents, please. Sunburns can take you to the hospital. And you have this inner heat, which may come out with fever, with blisters, things of that nature. Too much sun is no fun. And we're the ones that something today. So this is what we've been teaching the kids about: wearing life jackets at these camps, about putting on suntan lotion, putting caps and sunshades. You know, we'll put our sunshades on looking cool, but realizing, well, why do we have them on? We're protecting our eyes, so why wouldn't we protect our skin? I learned something, Jennifer. Well, good. I'm glad. We're talking to Jennifer Sims, Destiny Camp International, Aquatics and Training. Learn to swim, folks. Learn to swim. What's the number? 337-322-9302, or you can visit us on our website at www.destinycampinternational.com, and you can learn about some of our other programs at that website, and send us a note. Let us know. Look at some of our blogs, and we've got one of our youth that's actually working in Houston right now at Splashtown. Really? He started off with us when he was 6 years old. And now he's a lifeguard over in Houston, and we actually featured him on our website. And, wonderful. And we've got a couple of other kids that we're getting ready to feature who've been with us that's doing great things in the community as well. Wonderful. Now, Jennifer, I know the camp encompasses some other programs that we may be able to talk about next time you come, but we really wanted to push the swimming program. Yes. OJ Mouton Pool, on mud. Just go by and see what they're doing that way. That's right. So I want to certainly thank you for coming by today, each and every year. Yes, we try to make this possible because we know that it is an important topic. So thank you again. Thank you. For coming. Tell Mr. Vincent I said hello. I will do it. And that's going to wrap up our show for today. And we'll be back again next time with something else. In the meantime, you be blessed, and bye-bye. Good evening.